Howdy, San Antonio. KLUP 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 KSLR a.m. at 11 o'clock in the mornings on Saturdays, and KLUP 9:30 on Sunday afternoons at 4:30 in the afternoon. And hello, Houston, KNTH 1070 and 103.3 FM. Now it's time to discover your legal issue blind spots by listening to me talk about the law on the radio. I'm going to be talking with Lorena Jauregui De Birdy, Director of Business Development and Acquisitions, about property management today. But first, let's get to the financial focus segment. In addition to legal blind spots, I'd like to highlight some financial blind spots. Today, we're thrilled to have Jacob Warren with us. Jacob Warren is a financial planner with Financial Planning HQ. He works alongside his dad, Steve, and brother, Joseph, to create inspiring financial strategies for families and business owners in San Antonio. Jacob has been a financial advisor for over 10 years and is passionate about helping young business owners plan their financial success. Jacob loves the outdoors and, most importantly, being a husband to his wife, Catherine, and father of their two kids, Arthur and Camille. Jacob, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you, Todd. Great to be here again. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. What inspired you to want to work with young business owners?
I think young business owners bring a lot of innovation, creativity, and interesting business ideas. And it's fun for me to work with people like that because they're very creative and they can be very receptive to financial things because as business owners, I feel like we're so locked in on our business, right? It's hard to do the other side of it, whether that's the family, but also like the financial aspect of it and making sure that you're taken care of in those areas. So that's why I like working with young business owners.
Yeah, you don't want to have all your eggs in the business basket, so to speak.
Yeah, diversify a little bit.
That's awesome. Speaking of business owners, what are some things that young business owners overlook?
There's a lot of things that I have seen in my experience. A common one is kind of commingling business and personal expenses. I run into that almost all the time with very successful businesses or businesses that are just starting. And that's can be a detriment because you end up overpaying or underpaying taxes, which I guess underpaying could be worse, right? You get the dreaded audit, which nobody wants. But that's a big issue that I see with that, and failing to track everything, expenses, make sure that you're maximizing your tax deductions. And something that I offer to my clients, which is a huge part of their success, is building out a team of subject matter experts like you two who know, all about, estate planning and property management, and having a team behind you that is able to help you and guide you make decisions, because you can't be everything at once. You need to have a lot of experts on your side, and I can provide that to my clients.
That's awesome. And how about forgetting their personal financial planning?
That's a big part of it. And specifically with younger business owners, the power of starting that stuff early, 20s, 30s, 40s.
Saving money, putting investments to work for them.
Right. And time is on your side if you start early. I've run into both sides of the spectrum there, where it's like, you're in your 50s, you have a successful business, but you haven't saved any money. You're spending all of your money. That's very common. I've seen that before. And on the other side of it, I see young people all the time. They're like very interested in what can I do to save more money? And of course, as a business owner, there's like a lot of options for doing so, whether that's defined benefit pensions, starting 401k plans, SEP IRAs, things like that. So a lot of these things that we're not really taught in school, unless you go for like econ or finance, right? That are available to business owners that you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of, because they save you a lot of money in multiple ways.
Yeah, business owners like to save money. So if you're nodding along to the conversation saying, yes, you understand that, take some notes. On a positive note, what are some simple things that young business owners can do to get ahead of these issues?
Simplest thing you can do, number one, and your financial advisor, if you have one, will thank you, or your CPA, is create a bank account for your personal stuff, and then also have your business account, and make sure that you are staying up to speed on, tax laws and things like that, to know what you can actually spend for your business, right? And deduct for your taxes. And building out that SME team, the subject matter expert team, is huge. If you're in a spot where your business is profitable, you're successful, that's something you should definitely have on your side and can save you from major headaches down the road. And if you're very young and you have your business, start looking into doing your personal financial stuff immediately. Time is on your side.
Yeah, those steps seem straightforward, but implementing them could save entrepreneurs so much headache and money in the long run. We know that you can help, but what separates you from other financial advisors out there?
That's a great question. There's two things. So our process is very, very unique. We take a client through what's called a financial roadmap experience, where we talk about values and goals and everything that's important about money to the individual. So if it's a husband and wife, we ask both of them, get their perspectives on that, which is great. And then another thing that we do is we write down all of your goals. And if you decide to move forward with us, we actually show you how to accomplish those goals, or tell you if they're not feasible, right? So we'll guide you in ways like that. And the second thing that separates us, and I think this is probably the most important, is our flat fee business model. Our clients know exactly what they're paying us to the dollar and cent, and they know exactly what to expect from our services. And the financial services industry is typically, either commission-based sales, right? We're all familiar with like life insurance and stuff like that, or the asset under management model, where advisors just charge 1% to manage your assets. As a flat fee advisor, I'm able to give clients recommendations for anything. Like, I'll use an example of one of my clients. We're actually going through this right now. Is they've maximized all their savings for this year. Business has done very, very well. And they're like, hey, Jacob, what can I do outside of what we're doing through you with our retirement accounts? Great question. And we started looking at real estate. She found a good deal. And it's like, hey, I can recommend and show you how to purchase a rental property. And that's part of my services. And I'm able to offer that because there's no conflict of interest. I don't have to sell you anything. I don't have to keep your assets managed with me. I can tell you, hey, this is best for you. Go for it. So it's truly unbiased advice. And I think that's a little bit missing in the financial world.
Yeah, people really want that
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much corruption and greed out there.
Mm-hmm.
That it'd be nice to have somebody that was on their side. What are some practical next steps? Do you have any resources?
I do. Resource would be an initial consultation with myself or a member of my team. And really what that is just a conversation. We'll talk a little bit, see if we're a good fit to sit down together. And I can answer any questions then. If you did want to have a consultation, you can reach out to our phone number, which is 210-444-2128.
Joseph likes to do this.
The
444.
I'm not going to say it.
So that's 210-444-2128. 210-444-2128. Okay, well, is that all that you wanted to talk about today?
It is, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thanks, Doc.
Again, for your expertise. It's been enlightening. And to our listeners, remember, smart financial planning today leads to a brighter future tomorrow. You would agree with that, right? Whether it's achieving or maintaining financial independence, becoming more tax efficient, or building business wealth, Steve, Joseph, and Jacob create comprehensive written lifetime financial strategies that's uniquely yours, based entirely on what's important to you. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Call Financial Planning HQ today at 210-444-2128. That's 210-444-2128. Okay, next, we're going to be talking to Lorena Jauregui De Birdy, and she is going to talk about property management. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Are you excited?
I am a little bit nervous.
Okay. Well, you look great. You just
Thank
need
you.
to lean into the
Okay.
microphone. It's a warmer sound when you do that. So you're the director of business development and acquisitions. What is the acquisitions part?
It's purchasing other companies, other property management.
Oh,
companies.
really?
Yeah.
So,
Maybe they're looking to retire and they want to sell off their portfolio. come
awesome.
into
So
play.
PMI Birdy Property Management, is that the name of the company?
Yes.
What does the PMI stand for?
So PMI is actually a franchise. Birdy Properties has existed for way longer than PMI. I want to say a few years before COVID, though, my PMI poached my father-in-law to be their president of PMI, which is a franchise, property management franchise. He no longer is the president because there was him having to be in Utah and he was missing family time.
Oh.
So that no longer in existence, but we are still part of the PMI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And I heard that Birdy Property Management was the largest in San Antonio.
We are considered the largest property management firm in San Antonio. Yes.
Wow. Well, let's talk more about that after the break. Remember, this is Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. If you miss an episode, you can always watch on Facebook, YouTube, or talklawradio.com. I talk about estate planning, business law, elder law, probate, guardianship. I like to talk about the Constitution. You have to exercise your rights. So you have to vote and you have to do all the things that you have the right to do so the government doesn't take it away from you. We have to take a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. In the beginning, God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then he gave Moses the 10 commandments. And now we have municipal, state, and federal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws, laws that impact you without you knowing it. So listen to Talk Law Radio and tell your friends and family members to listen too, so that you can avoid hidden traps and identify opportunities to get ahead, like property management with Lorena Jauregui De Birdy. She's a business development director and acquisition specialist with PMI Birdy Properties, a family-owned San Antonio property management firm founded in 1979 by Barry and Nancy Birdy, who are retired Air Force veterans. So one of the things that you do, Lorena, is you help military members.
We do.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, we have grown because of our military men and women. I mean, the company started off that way. Papa, our founder, he was a chief master sergeant in the Air Force, and when he retired, he basically was like, you know what? Let me babysit my buddies' houses. That's how he got started, and became a property manager. He did that for like 20 years by himself, old school, and he was done and over with it after 20 years. And he was like, I'm closing up shop. And my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, they were actually in the Air Force at the time as well. My father-in-law said, don't. I'll get out of the Air Force after 15 years and I'll take it over. And so he has taken it over and has made it into the largest property management firm in San Antonio from when Papa started.
So this has gone
three generations.
Three generations.
Yeah.
Wow, that's terrific.
Yep.
There's not many businesses that do that.
No,
Jacob,
It's
do
very
you
rare.
have some clients that have done that?
I can't think of any. That's very rare.
It is
Yeah.
rare. Yeah. And so I think what happens is a military person buys a property to live in San Antonio, and then they get deployed
They do. And then, some military men and women, maybe they just bought the property and they get deployed sooner than they expected. And they're in a position where I can't sell it, I'm going to be coming out of pocket. It's too early. So manage my home. Or they go into it with the goal set that they want to buy investment properties everywhere they get stationed, right?
Okay.
And San Antonio is just a really great place to invest. So most of the time, they're not just buying one; they'll buy multiple, even though they were just stationed.
That's really great. Now, if you look at Lorena's signature line on her email, she has all these professional designations next to her name. How did you get those? What does it help you do for clients?
Yeah, the designations, it just kind of sets us apart, or sets me apart. It's a lot of hours, a lot of classes talking about different aspects, military specialist, specialist in
Risk
fair
management.
housing and
fair
yes,
housing.
yeah. So just a lot of extra education, which is always great for a property manager because things are always changing really quick in regards to laws and what you can do, what you can't do, discrimination, all kinds of stuff.
That's why I have you here, because I think there's a lot of hidden blind spots there. So you have all those designations. What professional associations are you a member of?
The National NARPM for short, but the National Association of Residential Property Managers. So if you're ever looking for a property manager, people with the designation NARPM, NARPM, are the people that you want to be looking for. You want to also ask and make sure that they're actually active in the chapter, not just part of the chapter.
And how active were you?
Extremely active. It goes down from my father-in-law, where our company is big on education. My father-in-law was a past president, local and nationally. My husband is also a past local president for 2 years. And I was the president in 2020, which was the worst year you could be president because I was at the downtown a lot fighting for our owners' rights. So,
right.
Yeah,
During
COVID.
COVID.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Tell us more about the company. What are some of your core values?
Oh gosh, we have a lot of core values, but to be ethical, one that is kind of fun is to get stuff done. But I will tell you that that's the nicer version of what we really mean. I'll let you fill in the blanks. But our goal, since Papa, is just to do things right, manage our houses the way we would want them to be managed by our family, and so being ethical is the key core value that we have.
Right. That's the same thing with Jacob and Joseph and Steve. What do you like about working in this industry? I asked you what's funny about being in property management, and you said nothing. So
Yeah.
what do you like about it?
It's always something different. My prior, career, I was in healthcare. And so it's just different. I had a lot of empathy for my patients then, and I was able to bring that into property management. But, I love helping individuals in a different way than when I was in healthcare, but kind of the same way. I always deal with different kinds of individuals. Not every client has a bunch of money to spend on, a bunch of investment homes. And I really enjoy working with the individuals like the sisters, 18, 15-year-old that come to me saying that their dad passed away of a heart attack and have a house that now needs managed and they don't know the first thing to do, right? Or the single mom that comes and says, I bought an investment home and I'm proud of it because when I got divorced, I was left with nothing, and I want to make sure that never happens to my daughter. And I want to make sure that I have, something set. So I get really emotional talking about it because it's just like, I love that aspect of just working with those individuals and just, helping them through that process.
You have a lot of empathy for your clients. That's terrific. So we're going to get into some hidden legal issue blind spots. And I think that some of those blind spots are pain points for clients. What do you see as pain points for self-managed property managers?
Owners that self-manage, the pain points are, I left let my tenant off the hook, paying late once, and then it just became routine, right? So not making payments on time, not making them at all anymore, maintenance issues. Either they're feeling like they're getting taken advantage by tenants putting in too many maintenance requests or not even calling in for anything. So by the time they go into their house, it's destroyed. Having the tenants bring in other tenants that come in, and so now there's multiple families living in the home and not really knowing what the heck is going on with their house anymore. So there's a lot of pain points when it comes to property management that we
Yeah,
can fix.
I can imagine. I had one client that managed her own properties, and she said if somebody didn't pay the rent, she would go there right away. And she said, "Give me something. If you're not going to pay your rent, give me something. Give me your watch. Give me your TV."
Shake them down.
Right? I wouldn't want to do that.
I wouldn't, not in this time of
Yeah,
no, I wouldn't. No.
That might end up in an injury somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So what services can PMI, Birdy Property Management, provide that an individual can't do himself?
Oh, it's expertise that we have, right? Anyone can find a tenant. Anyone can find someone off the streets to live in their house. But we have dedicated individuals that specialize in different things, and a bunch of software that we have, and partnerships that we have that we can utilize to help them find the best quality tenants and really manage their house right. And so we focus on that. I mean, our team works a lot differently than most property managers. We're a very large group specializing in different aspects of managing all our portfolios. However, some of them are cross-trained. So we have dedicated people just doing the aspects of screening our tenants, right? It's not as easy as just going on Craigslist or Facebook and finding a tenant. And, we have the software. We have our tricks too, because right now in this time of age where there's AI is really popular, right? People falsify documents galore.
Really?
Oh yeah. Bank statements get falsified. You could go on Facebook and on Marketplace, you'll see people posting, what do you need? Here's a package for landlord history or bank statement, $99, So we know our tricks, how to find that kind of stuff when they falsify that stuff. And so we do a really good screening process with the tenants.
Yeah, well, that's a game changer right there,
Yeah.
because if you can find the good one to begin with, and you don't have all the problems of non-payment, of destroying the house, of claiming everything's broken.
That's the hopes, right? But tenants can surprise you. They can look great on paper, and then life happens, right? A spouse passes away, your child gets sick, and now priority is not paying rent, right? And so there's a lot of things that happen, and we have, like I said, a lot of partnerships that we can help them with that kind of stuff. We also do semi-annual reviews, so we're going into the property. So owners that try to self-manage their house and they don't live in town, when's the last time they've gone to the house, right? 2 years, a year, even just months can destroy the property. So we do go out to the home. And
so that's a good client for you, somebody who lives somewhere else and has a property here, because you can be their eyes and ears and get everything done.
Yep.
Okay, well, we've got to take another break, but just reminding you, this is Talk Law Radio with Lorena Jauregui De Birdy and Jacob Warren. Jacob, what do you think about self-managing the property in 30 seconds?
If you don't have to do it, I don't think you should do it. That's where I like to lean on experts, whether, in my world, CPAs, attorneys. I think you can eliminate a lot of headaches by hiring someone like Lorena. So that's my take.
And you serve as the financial CEO for successful people, and somebody who hires a CEO to be in control of their investments and their insurance and their taxes probably would want to have a subject matter expert like Lorena on the team as well. Well, we got to take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt on the radio, on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and on talklawradio.com. Go to Talk Law Radio's channel on YouTube. All you have to do is go to your YouTube app on your phone and click the little magnifying glass and type in Talk Law Radio, and then look for the Lady Justice logo in the red, white, and blue colors. Then click subscribe and join the fun, because then you can watch these episodes in bite-sized segments of 10 to 14 minutes apiece. You can even watch shorter videos that are a minute or so, and then you can share them with your friend and let your friends know how knowledgeable about the law you are. We're talking with Lorena Jauregui De Birdy and Jacob Warren with Financial Planning HQ about property management. And I wanted to ask about rent. How does somebody decide how much a tenant should pay?
You
And
ask
how-
the experts.
And how has that changed over the years, and what resources do you use?
Yeah. So you definitely want to ask someone like us. Oh my gosh, I can't speak today. So, I mean, we have access as realtors to MLS, which is the multiple listing service. This is where all the data is stored when people sell their houses, when they rent their houses. And right. So when we go in there after we've reviewed the property, we're looking at not just what has rented in the area. Hey, it's a 4-bedroom, mine's a 4-bedroom, I should get the same amount. But we're looking at the condition of the property, upgrades, lack of upgrades, especially in these older neighborhoods, right, where it's not cookie cutter. They're not all the same, right? You could have a neighbor that got, $2,000 and you're not going to get $2,000 or what you're anticipating getting
Right.
because your house hasn't been updated like theirs, or vice versa, right? So we really look at the condition and the market at that time. The market has changed. During COVID, it was slow. And then after COVID, it was like everyone was ready to move out of where they were living, right? And so prices hiked up. We were renting houses ridiculously priced, like $200, $400 more than what the market used to say it should rent for. And the struggle right now is trying to tell owners that, yes, I got that many years ago, but 2 years, last year it started to kind of
come down a little.
It started to go back to the normal prices, right?
Oh.
And so it's hard to tell owners that have self-managed before that, yes, you got that, but right now we're not at that time, right? Because during that time too, there wasn't enough inventory. Now there's a lot of inventory. You see a lot of Lennar neighborhoods popping up on the outskirts of San Antonio,
I've
right?
heard that.
A lot. And so a lot of investors came from California, purchased these Lennar homes that are affordable. And so now it's saturated in those areas. So there's a lot of competition. So we have to look at everything.
And so why would somebody pay rent that's higher than what the mortgage is?
What their mortgage would be?
Why not just buy a house?
Well, sometimes they can't, right? You have the well-established, sorry to say, but attorneys that are going through divorces or that maybe their money's tied up. So they can't buy a house because they're going through a divorce and the money's tied up and they have to rent, right? So there's situations like that. You have the military men and women that they want to invest here and buy here, but not at this time because they're not familiar with San Antonio, right? So they want to rent and just kind of see where they would like to invest. Before they make that.
I have another situation that you probably run into. It just didn't come to your mind, where somebody used to have a house, but they got laid off or got sick and they got behind on the mortgage. They foreclosed on, and then so now they're trying to build their life back, and they have a high income, and so they can afford to live in that neighborhood. They just can't afford to buy the house because they've got bad credit.
Yeah.
Jacob, do you have clients with bad credit? Probably not.
I don't think so. Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
That's very true.
That's a good point though, yeah.
But budgeting and having good credit, that's part of a financial roadmap for some, I would imagine.
It's super important if you're planning on buying at some point to get all that organized and know where you stand. Yeah.
Right. Great. I read in your bio that you have some professional certification for homeowners associations, or do you work with homeowners associations?
Yes. So yes and no. We do work with the HOA as a property manager. Of course, we have to work closely with them for our clients, but we have a whole pillar. My brother-in-law actually oversees our pillar of HOA. So we are the HOA for some communities as
Okay.
well. So that's part of our company as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I was telling you before that I was asking Grok, that's the
Yeah.
artificial intelligence for X, formerly known as Twitter, what property managers complain about on X. And one of the things is they said difficult tenants and behavioral issues.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you have any stories you can tell about behavioral issues?
Yeah, that's why I don't have any funny stories, Todd, because I mean, we have to deal with so many personalities, right?
Mhm.
The owners and the tenants. I mean, okay, before I left the office today, I was talking to our maintenance manager, and he was like, "Hey, did you hear what happened yesterday?" I said, "No." He mentioned the property. He said that we got a call that the cops had were out to the property, and it's a vacant home, and that there was someone in the property. So he booked it and went to the property, and he finds a gentleman there coming out of the home, and he's all like, the guy starts questioning, "What are you doing here on my property?" He's like, "This is not your property, sir. I'm actually with the property management company here checking on the home because we got a call from the cops saying that someone was here that shouldn't be." And he's like, "No, no, no, no. This is," he was unhinged. He was like, "This is my
Mhm.
property. I paid for this, and I've got keys." Door was kicked in, and
Oh, really?
so this is stuff that we have to deal with, but we're always like living on edge, like there's a lot of situations that we have to deal
Yeah,
with,
that
and
would be so scary. I bet your maintenance manager is a tough guy.
he doesn't look it, but he is, yeah. But yeah, we deal with a lot of disgruntled situations, a lot of personality issues, a lot of serious
Yeah, but
issues.
that wouldn't be a tenant that you had
No.
chosen. Yeah,
No, but even our tenants, we have the issues there too as well.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, what Grok said is non-payment, poor communication, property damage,
Mhm.
unauthorized activities.
Yeah.
I think of Breaking Bad when I hear
Yeah.
unauthorized
Yeah.
activities.
Yeah.
What if somebody uh, was renting your house and cooking meth in the basement? That would be horrible. That would be an awful mess to clean up.
It
Mhm.
would. It's happened once, but before my time, so a long
Okay.
time ago. There's certain steps you have to take when that happens once you get the tenant
Right,
out,
a
because now
hazmat
yeah,
situation.
yeah, absolutely.
Other problems that people complained about: high turnover of tenants, subletting without permission, leaving filth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had a client one time, her son was the tenant,
Mm-hmm.
and tragically, her son died, and he wouldn't let her in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so, well, after he died, she had to go in the house. It was her house, and she had to wrap up his affairs.
Mhm.
It's bad enough to have a child die, but she goes in, there's a motorcycle in the living room.
Mm-hmm. You sure that's not one of my old tenants? No.
Yeah,
Yeah, that stuff happens, which leads me to saying, when you rent to family, make sure that you have a professional or that you have a lease, because that happens a lot where
yeah, as an estate planning attorney, we usually discourage our clients from doing
yeah,
that,
they'll mix.
or lending money
Yeah.
to the family.
Seems like it never ends well.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the Bible says that the debtor is slave to the lender.
Mm.
So you don't want to get into that.
True.
Another thing that people complain about on X, formerly known as Twitter, is maintenance and repair headaches. Unexpected or frequent repairs, especially spikes or inherited problems from prior mismanagement. Increased winter maintenance calls for the heater, plumbing, other issues pile up that require immediate attention. So do you ever have one of these self-managed people come to you and just beg you for help? Like, help me get this situation cleaned
All
up
day, every day.
because I hate the way that it's going?
Yes, all the time.
And so how do you get started?
Well, by listening, right? I need to get a better idea of the situation. And sometimes I don't get the big picture of everything. I get snips of it on the owner's side, right? So, but it's asking questions. A lot of the questions come from the experience that I've had in the past. I think when I was younger, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, we can fix it. And then now I'm just kind of like, we can fix it, but this is what's going to happen. And I don't really want to go down that path or,
The cost of repairs and cleanup and hiring contractors.
yeah, but
Do
we
you have-
take care of all that. We have our own maintenance company. So they work like a general contractor. So we have a multitude of vendors that we can dispatch at any time. We have when we can't evict them in-house, if it's because usually I get calls from owners that self-manage that are in a position where the tenant's not paying, right? And they need our
right.
help to evict the tenant. We can do that in-house if it's for non-payment of rent. But if an attorney gets involved or if it's something other than non-payment of rent, that's when we get the attorneys involved or advise them to.
You know,
get
the
attorneys involved.
first jury trial I won was an eviction.
Really?
Yeah, it was some little town on the way to Austin. I don't even remember. It was so long ago. I'll finish this story after the break. We got to take a break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with Lorena Jauregui De Birdy and Jacob Warren. We're talking about property management because you work with Birdy Property Management Company. Is that the right title for the
Yeah,
company?
Yeah.
Okay,
PMI
good.
Birdie Properties. Yes.
Yeah, just look up Birdy. It's
There
a
you go.
great name of a company. I mean, people remember it.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to finish my story about my first jury trial that involved an eviction. My client was the self-managed owner of the property. She didn't live there, and the tenants stopped paying. They demanded things be done or fixed, and there was arguments about everything. And I was a brand new attorney. This was a long time ago. And there was a judge in my Rotary Club, and I said, I'm going to this trial in some county I've never been about eviction, and she said, well, just remember that when there's an eviction action, the only question is who has the right to be there. And so that changed the whole case for me, because the lawyer on the other side said that there were damages and they shouldn't have to pay for this or that or the other. Well, what that judge told me is that the only issue that matters is who owns the property. And so I didn't have to address any of that other garbage. And this other attorney, I would talk to him on the phone, and he would say things like, I'm going to put your client on the stand and I'm going to tear her heart out.
Hmm.
Can you imagine?
Oh my goodness.
I
An
mean,
eviction.
that's not very professional behavior. And I didn't know what to do about it. So I just, God blessed me with some level of ignorance or being naive. So I just continued on. Well, I get to the trial, and the first thing you have to do is pick your jury. And so I knew only one question I need to ask. Can you guys guess what it is?
Who's the landlord?
Who owns
How
it?
many of you own your own home?
Oh, yeah.
There was one guy that didn't. And I said, you're
Wow.
out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew that the owners would be on side of the owner.
Yep.
And I did win that trial. I didn't get paid all of the money that I should have gotten paid, but it was a great experience.
More
I have a
victory.
great story to tell.
Yeah.
I
You
love it.
guys.
That's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, so this is the legacy segment. And so we like to talk to people about their legacy.
And now it's time for the Talk Law Radio Legacy Spotlight. What's your legacy? Sponsored by Marquardt Law Firm.
Okay, so you guys know Marquardt Law Firm sponsors the show, and Marquardt Law Firm focuses on business and estate law, including last wills, living trusts, and tax-protected inheritance plans. It's all about legacy.
Yeah.
And so I like to put people on the hot seat and ask, what does legacy mean to you, Jacob?
So for myself, so the listeners know I'm a part of a family business, right? I work with my dad, Steve, and my brother, Joseph. And I think when Todd mentioned to me like a minute ago that he was going to ask me about legacy, I thought about when I started to work for my dad and how cool that is that we get to work together every day. Same thing when my brother came in. And I think legacy, if I think about the business now, 20 years down the road, it would be really cool to have one of my children
There
potentially.
you go.
They're both babies, so who knows what their interest will be. But it would be cool for them to either continue the business, join the business, and continue on the
Yeah,
financial
just
planning.
be careful when you make a roadmap for somebody else.
Yes, no, not going to push them into it, but if they're interested, of
Yeah, and
course.
you
Yeah.
weren't pushed into it.
No, not at all.
That's
It was
so cool.
it was very much like you said. It was like, see if you're interested in this. And
Yeah.
turns out I was. So here I am.
Great.
Mhm.
Okay, Lorena, what does legacy mean to you? It could be your family, it could be the business. You can give us as much personal detail as you want. Could be your impact on the community.
I wish I could say the same thing as Jacob, because that's where my mind went, is like legacy and keeping the legacy of Birdy Properties and Papa. But my kids don't want anything to do with property management, so I don't see that getting into the business there. But I think legacy to me is just like the reputation that I leave for, Birdy Properties, my children. I want them to remember, that I cared deeply about what I did, even though it's property management, and for the community, and just hope my kids remember that aspect of just.
Yeah. Well, think about all those success stories,
Yeah.
when you were talking about the divorced woman and she wanted to make an impact on her kids. That began with you.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So
Thank you.
what I wanted to bring to this conversation is I have some clients who really enjoy having a lot of properties. When they get one, then they want another one, and then they want another one. And when you start acquiring assets, that's when I think you have a real responsibility to be a good steward of the resources that God gave you and to take care of it and make sure that you don't lose it due to frivolous lawsuits and things like that. So I like to help them protect assets using estate and business planning techniques. And so if anybody's interested in what that means, we can have a 15-minute phone call. You just call 210-530-4278. Call Marquardt Law Firm at 210-530-4278. And you can learn about how you can get started limiting your liability and protecting your assets. See, the state of Texas protects some of our assets for us. Your home, your car, your tools of trade, some geese, chickens, horses, and other farm animals, your pets, your sporting equipment, $50,000 for an individual. But then that's it. So when I help somebody who has more than that, you have to rely on these other legal strategies in order to protect your property. Because just like there's tenants out there who you thought were good that turn out to be weird or evil. There's people out there that they're looking for their payday, their windfall.
Absolutely.
They'll wreck into you and say it was your fault and try and take all the money that you've worked so hard to achieve.
Right.
So we don't want that to happen. What are some key takeaways for people that are looking to do that? They think, I've got my investments, I've got my 401k, I've got some extra money. They probably heard Lifestyles Unlimited on the radio, and they want the passive income and the good life. So what should they know?
I would say it would be important for them to, before they even purchase anything, to speak to individuals like you guys, property managers as well, and make sure that they really know the full aspect of what they're getting themselves into, because so many people just purchase investment homes and run with it until it's too late, and they're calling me and then I'm calling you, hey, let's put him, create an LLC, put him in a trust, do this. So it's important to do the research before you just kind of
I met a realtor the other day, and he said that he's been helping investors, new investors. And he said there are some realtors, they don't care whether the house is a good deal or not.
No.
They just want the commission. But
Absolutely.
He said, if I did that, I wouldn't get repeat business. And so he gives a little coaching, and he said he had this one client, she really loved the house. And he said, it's not a good deal. You're not going to make any money on it. And she said, but I really like it. And he said, well, if you're going to do it for investing, you have to do it for the right reason.
Right.
What do you think, Jacob? What are some key takeaways here?
Yeah, I think what you said, if it's a pure investment, you really want to make sure that you have the numbers like dialed in to make sure that you are actually going to make money on the deal, and try to leave like the emotional aspect of the home and all that stuff. Like, I really love the home, but if you're going to end up losing money, you want to make sure that you're running those numbers and making sure that it's truly a good deal, not just looks good.
Right.
That makes sense. Yeah.
My dad always said, buy low and sell high.
Yes. That's
Don't buy
that's my
high.
job. Yeah.
He said you would make your money when you bought the property.
Right.
Well, for me, he was talking about baseball cards. When you go to the baseball card show, make sure you buy low. All right. Well, we've been talking about property management. If you're curious about this, please call Lorena Jauregui De Birdy. How can they reach you?
They can call me directly at 210-833-9104, or check us out on www.birdy.com. That's BIRDY.com.
Such a cool name. Reminds me of Tweety Bird. Thank you for listening to Talk Law Radio. If you're interested in some legal topic that's causing you problems or that you don't understand fully, email me at host@talklawradio.com. That's HOST@talklawradio.com. I'm always looking for hidden legal issue blind spots, because if it's your question, somebody else is going to have a question about that same thing. I'm Todd Marquardt. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you.
It's been awesome. I had a blast.
I had fun.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.